Hello, I'm Frank Wingate, and I'm very pleased and proud to introduce my new novel to you, which has just been published. It's a story about two brothers, their experiences in an Asian city. I started writing this novel because I was inspired by my time living in Hong Kong, and I lived there 20 years. Though I started writing this story quite long before the protests of 2019 in that city. I'd like to introduce you to this book by reading a short extract to you. It is an extract that comes from the time when students have organised their protest sit-in, and one of the brothers gets involved in this protest while the other brother is finding solace in a boozy evening and night out on the town. So let's have a look at this extract. Finally, at exactly midnight, the order to advance came. Whistles blew and the policemen shuffled into position. They then threw open the huge wrought iron university gates and marched in. On entering the square, they fanned out to form two lines across the square, directly opposite the neoclassical facade of the Student Union building, at a distance of some 100 metres from the main door. They stood silently, most of them no older than the students they confronted. No students remained in the square. Everyone had retreated behind the barricaded doors. The square was empty, apart from the police, illuminated in ghostly fashion in the darkness by the yellowish light cast from the Union building's windows. Like many others, Doug huddled against a first-floor window, looking down anxiously. His instinct was to slip out one of the back entrances and disappear into the complex of buildings at the back. Hadn't he done enough? He had shown support for the movement after all. He had shown commitment, and the movement would soon melt away anyway. Nevertheless, his curiosity got the better of him, and he stayed, transfixed by the scene below. He felt like an alien observer, as though he was in some way disembodied and detached, not only emotionally but physically. It was now quiet inside the building. Everyone waited in expectation. Some in a cold sweat, some in a cloak of moral resolve, and a few in the taut anticipation of danger and violence. Doug could hear the ticking of the clock of the seminar room into which he was packed. He thought of his brother and, taking out his phone, tried to call him. But after several attempts, Jack did not answer, and he gave up. Looking back again through the window, he stood on tiptoe to get a view over the shoulders of those crowding in front of him. He saw the lines of police open to allow a senior officer through. Commander Stephen Wong marched to within 20 metres of the main door. He stopped, looked over his shoulder, as if to reassure himself his men were still in support and in full order, then turned again to look up at the first floor windows. Seeing the crowds of pale faces leaning out or pressed against the glass, he slowly raised a megaphone to his lips. Well, that's it. I hope you'll be able to take a look at my book, and I very much hope if you do, you'll enjoy it. Thanks.